You're my wonderwall. And you're my wonderwall. Alright. Oh, stop that. Alright. Y'all know what time it is. We're gonna do another run of this fun little type of stream. And this time, I was considering whether or not I actually wanted to do Splash Ducky this time around. But I feel like I'm gonna save that for the next stream. Hold on, my stuff is taking a bit of a moment. Are you a demon pony sniffler clopper? What do those words mean in that order? All right. Let me make sure this is the right. Yeah, okay. So this is probably going to be a shorter stream just because it's not as much. I also have D&D tonight, so I'm going to try and not speed around this. We'll see how long this takes. And if it starts inching closer and closer to 6 o'clock, then oh, where's my window capture? Hello. Hold on a second. There we go. All right, so this is error040. The best background I can think of is when I started this when I started this project, hold on, what year did I do this? 2023. So I was I think, hold on, 17 question mark, 17 maybe. I just finished doing like, I know when I made error040, it was like fresh off of doing one of my first live performances as Citrus. That was pretty sick. It was kind of like on this wacky off-road area. And I think that event kind of just inspired me to start being like more out there and doing weirder and weirder stuff. So I started curating like this kind of like old web, like weird spacey project. All of this is going to be extremely experimental, by the way. I was really inspired, at least aesthetically, by this really specific niche of jump style music, though you're going to hear pretty fast not all of the tracks under at least like this album are necessarily jump style. There were sure some attempts at it, but you know, I was really inspired by like weird abstract like sort of artwork and vibes like that kind of drain gang shit, the fucking Yabujin vibe, but like I didn't really want to commit to like a single genre under error040, so I never really like attached those titles to the way I stylized a lot of this music. I'm definitely, my brain's definitely working right now. I just got back from work. But yeah, that's all the background I can think of. Let's just start with this first track here, which is Ethereal Light Slowly Dissolving, featuring Lost in Kitty City, who I will hopefully get to at some point if I feel really committed to doing this type of series. Very strong start. What can I say about that one? So, I remember I was trying to do like a completely different vibe, and then it turned into that. I do remember that. I remember the little chorus synth parts. That's actually something that I found off of like a sampling website that I visit a lot. And this is like one of my first attempts at jump style, which you can probably hear the first problem with it, which is that yes, there were kicks in it, but I did not commit to the kicks being loud for some reason. And so it kind of got masked in the song. And so for a lot of people, it was kind of hard to tell whether or not this track was actually jump style. So, which is kind of unfortunate and pretty ironic in a way, because like I featured Lost in Kitty City on this, who is supposed to be like, I think Lost in Kitty City is one of the loudest, noisiest, craziest kind of aliases we have out there, but for some reason I felt the need to nerf myself in this one, which later on like was to my detriment, but I think that's pretty funny. I don't really have much else to say about that one besides just, I don't know, I was kind of in a really weird spacey state through like half of this album, so it's gonna be kind of hard to remember everything ever that inspired me to make this. I just kind of remember I wanted to make something that sounded like LSD Dream Emulator and evil Second Life worlds, you know, shit like that. Next up we have Files Kitty Archive. This one's pretty fun.
No, we're steady and I'm late. I'm a beat cause I'm mad top heavy.
So that is, I remember really specifically what that sample was, actually. That, little vocal bit, that's, Kitty Pryde, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check that. Yeah, Kitty Pryde is, where I got that from. It's a track called Barbie Jeep. And I don't know, that's just kind of a track that I've like always liked. I'm trying to remember where I found it. I found it from a really specific place, and it's just kind of like been stuck in my head for like years. But if I remember correctly, it was like, it was one of the weird tracks that I was given back when like Hangouts was still active. I think someone gave me Barbie Jeep by Kitty Pryde as like a long like playlist of things, and that just kind of stuck to me. I haven't listened to a lot of Kitty Pryde at all lately, so I don't know how that one's doing at all, but pretty sick track. I fuck with it, and it mixed really well into what I was doing. That was the first track I made as far as error040 stuff goes. That was basically the baseline for how I wanted this project to sound, pretty much. I was like, I wanted to make something that sounded like weird old internet bullshit, and then I wanted to, you know, add my own little charm at the time, which was just hyper specific sampling. So, hey, we did it. And then after I made that one, I made this one, which is called Percent Adderall Percent, which is really funny. I don't know why I named this like the way I named it, because I was not medicated at all until very recently on stimulants, but whatever. Maybe I foresaw some great prophecy. Let's see how it sounds.
Yeah, there's a monster under my bed. Tommy, there's no such thing as long dick style.
Oh God, okay. Okay, so Percent Adderall Percent. That was hello. Sorry. So Percent Adderall Percent. Um, I'm pretty sure if y'all have watched Fine, then you know where the fuck the long dick style sample came from. Um, I was like, I don't know. I just felt like making something weird and hyper, but I think this was originally gonna be like a citrus thing, but I couldn't really like, you know, do anything beyond what I added, so I just bit crushed it and called it a day. But that little end vocal sample there, that's from the outro to Murder at the Bingo Hall by Amigo the Devil, who had an absolute clutch on me around the time that I was making this. I was still smoking a lot of weed. This was still in the era where I was smoking a lot of weed. And I would get really high and I would cry to grim folk music. And I remember this wasn't around the time that I made this album, but I did actually get to see Amigo the Devil live once, and that's how I learned about this really great venue downtown. But I don't know, I have a really nice soft spot for like really specific type of like acoustic folk punk music, you know. Very very fond of the stuff that makes me feel like I'm rotting in a field sometimes. Shout out Amigo the Devil. You should listen to Amigo the Devil like immediately. Then next up I believe is, oh god. Okay. So the next one that's coming up is called Gordon I Need Spices, and it is a catatronic feature. There's a lot of features of other aliases in this album in particular. One question. Off-topic question: have you considered sampling the track for 8-1 in Ultrakill? I have considered like doing an Ultrakill related like actual remix. I know I made like an Ultrakill like inspired track, but I don't think I ever did like a remix of like an Ultrakill song just yet. I know I wanted to do like one for Minos Prime's theme, but I think it would be interesting to do do something for 8-1. Perchance. Perchance. Hold on. Martini glass mix. Yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah. So this is a catatronic feature. I'll get into the everything once I play it.
We woke up one day and realized every single Ramsey was alive. Was steady. What did you do?
We've already seen what this one is, but I don't even. So Half-Life VR, but the AI is self-aware, is a saga for sure. I would say that's my first exposure to like RTV Gang, but I'm not gonna lie, RTV Gang has made 5 billion of my vocal stems in the form of memes, so I can't even. But I remember, I don't know, I just really, I really was still fond of Half-Life VR. I got into it like a couple years prior to making this album or making anything on my Bandcamp for that matter. Well, no, that's a lie. I think I got into it like the second I was like making stuff as Pilot Technonomicon, but it was really cool. I don't know. It's one of those things that's just kind of ingrained into my personality. I still sometimes like do dumb vocal stems and references from that series. And I just really wanted to make something with that. I think before I did that one, I did Snoring Lines of Pixie Sticks, and I'm motherfucking getting it. And I'm not gonna play that one in this stream just because I already like I already played it in the last stream for the Citrus commentary. I don't know, that whole track is just a giant like Half-Life VR reference basically. That was very catatronic heavy too, I know that. And I think that was around the time that I was doing error040 content, I was also doing a lot of catatronic content. I think just a year slightly prior, and also kind of in the midst of all this. Yeah. Yeah. We'll do the next track, which is a Citrus feature anyways. It's an error040 Citrus feature called I Have Never Touched a Single Episode of Nagatoro in My Life. And I really hope that it's self-explanatory. Um. Oh, brother. So that was definitely one of the tracks I've made on that album. I think I say that like I have a lot of bad blood against it. I don't really. It's just like, you know, when I made that, I think it was around the time that people I still kind of kept hearing about like Nagatoro, and I was like whatever about it, you know. um there's I'm trying to remember. I had a really specific emotion in my mind when I started that, but I don't think it persisted when I continued it. I think I was just starting to make like goofiness after a bit. Um, the percussion's definitely a little hard to tell what I was trying to do with that. I was trying to do the happy hardcore thing where it's like hard kick, and then you can kind of hear the break in the background, but I made the break too loud. That big ol' speech is a pretty dated meme, I'd say. It's the Rick and Morty copy pasta. The to be fair, you have to have a fairly high IQ to understand Rick and Morty. back when that was a absolute cataclysm in of itself. Um, and I thought that was just funny to do because I don't know. I didn't actually like care that much about uh Nagatoro as like a franchise. I was just like really spiteful of a lot of like specific genres of weebs basically. I wanted fucking Reddit otakus to get out of my face. And so I just threw that into a song, which I'm like 50-50 about it. Sorry if you hear my cat. My cat's yelling at my door right now. He's a very entertaining little creature. I can't let him in though. He'll be even louder. um Now this next track, I know a lot of people like this one. This one right here, Nice Bell, bro, who does it toll for? I know it's one that everyone knows at this point. It's I think one of my more popular songs. I wouldn't call it my most popular song, but it's definitely up there. Um, at least as far as like at least as far as YouTube goes, I think my most viewed song. Let me look. Sort by most popular. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, no, it is my most viewed song on YouTube, and I don't know. I haven't checked the SoundCloud listens in a hot minute. I just overall know that one is one that people definitely know for sure. um and there's a lot to unpack with it, so I will just let it play.
So often, wouldn't you? In fact, the probability of never guessing right in the full game is a statistical wonder. And yet, here we are. Introduce the top game champion.
Oh, oh boy. Oh goodness. Oh my god. Yeah, okay. So this one, I feel like every time I think about it, I think it's crazy that this one is like one of my more popular tracks just because like I when I made that, there was zero thought put into it. I got a MIDI I got a MIDI file of the Sparta remix instrumental, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something with this. The only thought I put before starting it was I wanted the intro to the Sparta remix, like the dun dun dun, to have that stupid cat screaming meme in it. That's it. And then I just started throwing a bunch of bullshit from my that was already on my computer. I don't think I downloaded a single thing beyond the Sparta remix. After that point, and like the cat screaming, that's about it. And I just like I just concocted something funny, something that was funny to me. I feel like as far as a lot of my Splash Ducky stuff goes, I feel like that's how a lot of the Splash Ducky stuff is just by nature. Um and it's like yeah. I don't know. But I remember at some point, um, one of my guilty pleasures is looking up specific keywords to see if anyone's talking about my music on platforms that I don't even know exist. And one time I came across a Reddit post regarding this track, saying that like they were on r/tip of my tongue, and they were like, I can't figure out what the instrumental is. And a bunch of people were like, it's Sparta remix, and they were like, no, it can't be. And then this person gave like the instrumental to it. They were like, oh, it is. And there was a part of me that like wanted to go in there and be like, hey, wait a minute, I made that. But it was an old thread, and every time I bump an old thread on Reddit, I feel myself like gain like increasing amounts of like, you know, Thaumcraft flux and taint on my soul. But yeah, and then I found out that someone made like an OSU map for it, and I can't remember whether or not that was something that someone just did, or if someone specifically asked me to make an OSU map. Asked me if they were okay to make an OSU map. I mean, but like I remember seeing that too. Unfortunately, I suck doo doo ass at Osu. You cannot catch me being good at any type of game like that. My hand-eye coordination is so sucks. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm playing Desktop Survivors. But anyways, what's the next song here? Oh, Yume 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 Yume, which is finally a standalone error040 track. I'm trying to see, what do I remember about this one? I remember looking up specifically a hyperpop loops to go with this one. I think this was going to be a Cloudberry Daydream feature, but then it sounded too normal, and then I didn't want to ruin it, and so I just kind of made it like a standalone. And why hello there, Block. But I don't know. I can't think of anything else beyond that. More will probably come to me after I play it for y'all. So here we go.
Welcome.
Goodness gracious. All right. Oh, I'll get to this bad boy in a second. I think that's the last track. Yeah, that's the last track. So I okay. So Yume. I made that in a really weird state of mind. I remember that. It was one of those times where I was like, sometimes I get like really mad and I like for no reason. And instead of taking it out on someone, I just really angrily do the things that I like doing. It's like I should work on something to make myself feel better, but fine, but I won't like it, and then I end up liking it. I don't know. There are a lot of like weird waves of like manic depression, especially while I was still in high school. Um, and I don't think any of the things I was doing back then helped that in any way, shape, or form. I kept trying to get crazier and crazier. But I think this was one of those points where I was like really sad about it at the same time. So I just made something that sounded emo, I guess. Something that sounded emo and treacherous. And sad. And then I proceeded to make this track. Now this track, it is a Pilot TECHNONOMICON feature, so you're gonna hear my pre-T voice. And it's called "What's God to a Mycelium Network." Now I was really a coward about putting my like the stuff that had my voice in it on Spotify. So "What's God to a Mycelium Network," at least as far as like right now goes, is not on Spotify. But I hold on. I had this like I don't know how to explain it. I had this really interesting moment where I see, okay, so one thing that I am pretty open about, but at the same time don't really talk about super often is the fact that I am what the cool kids call plural. And at the time when I made What's God to a Mycelium Network, I was vaguely questioning whether or not I was for a little bit, but I didn't want to outwardly say it because I didn't really have the resources or people around me to start that conversation without feeling like I was doing it out of nefarious purpose. And so I kind of just wrote like my frustrations into a song of like my sort of general lack of sense of self and kind of entertaining the idea of what would I do if it turned out there were people in my head, and I would being the optimist I was at the time, I was like, I mean, I'd probably try to be friendly with them. I would try and work together so we can find ourselves together. Which is really funny. Like I don't have the lyrics. Oh, never mind. The lyrics are here. Okay, I'll keep. Hold on. I'm gonna move dot. Hold on. I'm gonna move dot from here so you can see, and then and I'm gonna move dot and their little Neko arc hat here so you can actually see the lyrics here. But yeah, this was just kind of me pseudo entertaining the idea of being plural before I realized I was plural. It's also very loud and was originally going to be a Cloudberry Daydream feature, but I decided to make it Pilot TECHNONOMICON because it was just my normal voice. These are the beats they played at Judas Iscariot's funeral album. Yeah, oh my goodness. Hold on, let me go back to this. Okay. I think in retrospect, it's really interesting. Really, really interesting the way I like framed this and talked about this before I even could grasp just how severe my situation was. This was a almost, hold on, April 20th, 2023. That's like over, I think, a year before I even figured this shit out about myself. Like, and I just had this like whole like thought piece about it. It's like, if this is what I have, then this is what I feel about it. Um, and, uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I was trying to like, I don't know. I just needed somewhere to put that and like yell about it. So I didn't really feel the need to like put it anywhere that wasn't like, like just the basic personal areas. So like SoundCloud and Bandcamp, and I was kind of a pussy, so I didn't put it on Spotify. But I'm not gonna lie, gang, I don't think I'm ever gonna make another release for Spotify. Like, and if I ever do, then it's gonna be a fucking miracle. I hate the process of distributing to Spotify. I know that's what everyone's doing nowadays. I can't. I can't. I'm gonna be an old timer when it comes to my shit. I'm either it's either gonna be SoundCloud or it's gonna be Bandcamp. Because after I released Cosmic Horror, I was so done. It wasn't even Cosmic Horror that like put me at my limit. It was fucking what was it, the fucking Ultraviolence single. We'll get to Ultraviolence in a second. But yeah, that was Error040 versus the World. That's our first album in our little series here. Let me put sorry, excuse me. Let me put Dot back here with their little friend. And let me move forward to the next release, unless anyone has any questions regarding that specific release, Error040 versus the World. Wow, there's like 6 people here. Wow. I get excited even when there's just like a tiny little little portion of people in my audience. I'm not gonna lie. I get happy about that sort of thing. Let me set up for. I keep getting notifications about Bandcamp moving to Stripe. Yes, I know. Yes. All right. There we go. Perfect. All right. Giko Neko. I'm gonna gander at chat for 2 seconds before I continue this. Norp. Okay. So, Giko Neko. This is where I tried redeeming myself on the jump style side of things, but it's also an EP. What ended up happening was that I was in this server with a bunch of people from this one guy who I was collaborating with over Discord, and that with that person, I had this absolutely golden collaboration with them that remains unreleased because I haven't figured out a way to contact them again. um so I used to be in like their whole server and stuff, and they had like a little like challenges like slash music creating channel where people would suggest samples to use, and then everyone would do their own personal take on it, and that was pretty awesome. I love doing that. That was a really fun part of that was a really fun part of doing like, I don't know, of being in that server. And I remember I did a few Cloudberry Daydream tracks for those people, and then I did a lot of Error040 tracks. So these are all tracks that I made while I was in that server. And I think, yeah. um the Sync Boy, if you're out there, hit me the fuck up. I need to know whether or not I can release that Splash Decky track I did with you, homie. Like, cause I still love it a lot, and I use it in a lot of my experimental like DJ sets and stuff that I do to myself. Anyways, first track on this 3-song EP is Hardcore Daisuki.
大音量のレオらしい耳が破裂しそうだあーハードコア大好き
Oh god. Okay. So that was a few things. I know I really wanted to try and redeem myself a little more making jump style. I mean, I kinda did a little better than my last jump style attempt that we heard in the start of the other album. But I still kind of struggled a little bit to remember that the kicks were kicks. And so I kind of started treating them like a bass synth instead of treating them like a kick. So I never included them with the percussion for some reason, which is where you get the weird, like, contrasting other kick over the kick. I did that for a long time. But I okay, I'm trying to think. So I remember I went on a really long wild goose chase for the text to speech that you hear in that track at the Yukari text to speech. It took me way too long to try and find that, but um yeah. I mean, I don't really have much to say about the other one either, but I'm trying to think of like other fun things about that. I was really inspired by a different jump style track. I remember that. And that's about it. Yeah. I was trying to really get error040 to be a jump style alias. Despite everything. So for the next track you'll hear some kicks as well. And kind of tried to make it like a more serious note. You'll see. Right, so that was you could definitely tell I really wanted to push the fact that I was upset and angry and mad in my track here. I'm trying to remember. I know I was in a really bad mood when I made that. That's all I really remember. And it was another spiteful creation, which seemed to happen a lot with my error040 tracks at the time. But I don't know. I don't remember a lot about why I was mad at all. Um, but I do remember that it was around. Hold on, was this around the time I was getting medicated? September 2023. Yes, I was. I was on Zoloft at the time. That's why I was so upset all the time. That shit made me BPD crash left and right. I'm not gonna lie. Dude, that was not for me. But yeah, so I was feeling weird and wacky and paranoid all the time and rolling around, and I was getting mad and angry at everything. But yeah, that was another one that I remember leaking to the server, and people were like, "Whoa, how do you do that?" This next one is called Indie Break, and I made it actually for a challenge that was in the server. Hello, poet. Hello, with 5 billion exclamation points. But yeah, so the next track here is Indie Break. It was made for a challenge. And it was just this one. Hold on, let me see if I can find it in my. Someone randomly dropped in like this music making channel that like we should be making like that we should be making like a song with this one. Hold on. This one like vocal sample, and I'm pretty sure they got off of like TikTok. And I had to download it like 3 different times because it was just not working for me for one reason or another. Let's see. 2023. Not seeing it. Could have sworn I called it like evil sample. That's weird. Okay, I can't find it. That's okay. Let's just play it. I'm sure someone here will recognize it. Yeah, not much to say about that I didn't already say, honestly. I just made it like for a little challenge. I don't even remember what other people's tracks sounded like. But I do remember a lot of people glazing the fuck out of me when I was in that server. um yeah. Uh Not really much to say about the EP. It was just kind of a collection of stuff that I made under the error040 alias. You can kind of hear in the background that I used some Sonic CD samples, and that was because at the time I just met someone, a friend of mine, and she sent me like so many different like samples and sound fonts and stuff that she likes, and I think that generally just changed the trajectory of of a lot of my creation, because I still use that sample pack. I still use that shit. Coming up next is the last error040 release that I've made. Technically, there is like a whole set of like game soundtracks and stuff that I featured before, but I'm pretty sure those are about to be recycled into a different project that also is being worked on by the same person, aka one of my partners, Stefan, aka Looney Pendulum, who's made so many things for me as far as artwork for my music goes. But back on track. Ultraviolence. This was a very, very rushed release. I knew I wanted to make a Ultra Kill inspired, like, noisy breakcore track, but it kind of like rotted in my drafts for a really long time until I met one of my other partners, and he said he really liked the demo that we had, and like he wanted to listen to it more, and he asked a couple times like whether or not like I would ever put it on Spotify, until one day I was like, you know what? If I keep just letting it brew, I'm never going to release it. So I just kind of rushed an album, like a single release, on Spotify of Ultraviolence. And I think that's the last release I made on Spotify under error040 as well. This one is very loud. I do remember that. Whether or not I did the Ultra Kill vibe well is for other people to decide. I'm not entirely happy with this song, but I know a lot of people like it, so I'm kind of at like an impasse with it. Let's hear it. Goodness. Goodness gracious. Yeah, that's ultra violence. Woo! Um I I'm trying to think. I mean, there's nothing like super crazy that I can talk about with that besides just it's loud D&V, and I was inspired by Ultra Kill when I was curating how it sounds, and I added a bunch of Ultra Kill sounds. But one of the things that I added to that was this scream sound effect, and that is actually from a very interesting source. If I go here, so on Yakuza PSP, from the song Neo Frantic, I found in my Hideki pack, I uh sample a lot of Hideki vocal samples as well. Especially in recent stuff. I found this. And that's what you hear. That's what you hear in that little section there. Let me see if I can find it again, like around here. That's that. That's what that is. Yeah, I don't know why I felt the need to sample Yakuza in a Ultra Kill track, but you know, it is how it is. Let me see what time it is, because I might actually be able to go and dig up those old game soundtrack songs I made in the error040 style, actually. Let's see. Oomph is still at work? Oomph is still at work. Okay. I got time. I got time. Let's dig up those real quick, because those are also error040 tracks. Let's see here. I'm scrolling through all my little things that she can't see. That's not it. Ooh, all of my unreleased drafts. Ultra Kill and Yakuza are basically in the same timeline. You know what? Facts. You, not you. Alt. Oh, it might be in this. Oh god, it is in this. Okay, so okay, that's not part of it. So this is a compilation of things that I did. Okay. How am I gonna do this? The problem here is that I put this all in like a long list. I merged two different album ideas I had together, and I put it into this big old like mega list called We Still Think About You. We Still Talk About You. I mean, and it's in reference to a image I think about a lot. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it like this, and I am not going to do the other half of this, but the first half of this is in the error040 style. And I think once I do, hold on a second. Once I do Pilot Technonomicon, you'll hear the other half of this Draft Wasteland. Because that's my general chiptune stuff. Okay, the order is the first Yakuza. Okay, so the order is first Yakuza, then No More Heroes, then Ultra Kill. That's the canon timeline. That's they're all in the same universe. Let me put something visually appealing on the screen here. Look at this bastard while we listen to these. The first track. Okay, wait. I need to give some background. That's right. So, this was going to be the soundtrack to a dating sim called Alt3. Alt3 because that's how you make a heart. A little heart emoticon, I believe. That's why I did that. And it was going to be a dating sim where you put a bunch of malware on your computer, but they all became sentient and dateable. That's basically the gist of that. And so all of these the first 7 tracks of this compilation are all part of that soundtrack. So we'll start with Burn Disc.
Radical rebel with the need to bomb fake MC, then I hang 'em higher. The mic is mine, time to paint the piper. Crime of rhyme going off as a kingdom. You and the beat portrayed as the victim. Maniac, as a cut the balance is supreme. With the war and challenges, causing much mayhem, dropping drama. Radical rebel with the need to bomb fake MC, then I hang 'em higher. The mic is mine, time to paint the piper. Crime of rhyme going off as a kingdom. You and the beat portrayed as the victim. Maniac, as a cut the balance is supreme. With the war and challenges, graceful and quick like a boomer. You can't catch up till now you assume I'm swift. You got it right the first time your ass was through. Before I started to rhyme, I got the brain in my scope. The plan is a whole so dope you can't cope. Deadly. Quicker pick it up like down. Causing much mayhem, dropping drama. Causing much mayhem, dropping drama. Causing much mayhem, dropping drama. Radical rebel with the need to bomb. Causing much mayhem, dropping drama. Causing much mayhem, dropping drama.
Oh. So that is Burn Disc. And I think that was supposed to be like a menu theme, and then this one here is supposed to be like a casual like background theme. The main like little chime, that's the that's part of one of the opening themes from that like from one of the Windows versions. I want to say XP, though it might be older. Yes, actually, this was in my draft compilation. And I had like a bunch of stuff stacked, and I just needed to put it somewhere. The game soundtrack for the other game that I'm going to save for my Pilot Technonomicon retrospective is also in that draft compilation. The Causing Much Mayhem, Dropping Drama, I remember that vocal like acapella was given to me by the same friend who gave me all the other sample packs that I love using. So it's I was using a lot of her stuff. She gave me a giant toy chest of things, and I was like, oh well, don't mind if I do. And then I think this was gonna be like a normal like lounge theme of just browsing your desktop. It's called Popular on AOL.
You've got mail. You've got mail. You've got mail.
Oh, wait. You're not supposed to hear that yet. So popular on AOL. I don't really have much to say about that. It's the AOL, You've Got Mail sound, and more stuff that I found from the Sonic CD sample collection. I later learned actually that a lot of the sounds from the Sonic CD sample collection that she gave me were actually from this even older compilation disc that a lot of people use. That like Hideki Naganuma has used, a bunch of other people have used. Anytime you hear of like fucking future funk, just know that a lot of those vocal samples come from a compilation, like sample compilation disc called 0G. It has 3 volumes. I have all 3 of them on my laptop right now, and they are golden. Some of the stuff there is copyrighted material, but it's kind of like in a way where it's like, unless somebody's lawyer is feeling extra petty today, you're not really going to get into a lot of hot water for it. This next song, I will ramble about it the second it's done playing. So that is one of the first character themes, and that was going to be in this game. That was for a character named Offiz, which, if you don't know, Offiz is the more formal name for the "You Are an Idiot" malware. So this was a character based on that. Let me see. Can I just like let me see if I can find him real quick, because I know I had his sprites. What if I just add an image here? Browse. If I just look up Offiz, it'll probably show up. No, it doesn't. I don't have the sprites anymore, actually. Maybe. But he was a guy with like a computer head, and he had like the "You're an Idiot" like smile front and center with a bunch of tabs over him. He was supposed to be a nefarious little fucker, little goblin. I designed him, and because of the style that the visual novel was going to be in, I also had him as a avatar in Roblox. I still have him as an avatar in Roblox, which I think is pretty fun. The next one after this is jpeg.exe.wave, and that's another one, and I'll just let that play too. Right. So jpeg.exe.wave. There were a lot of iconic viruses that we put in here. I say a lot. There were like 4 characters, or like 3. I think it was just 3 characters actually. And so jpeg.exe was another me suggestion, I think. Or I think Seth had just let me like didn't offer a lot of different ideas, but jpeg.exe is a type of malware. It's like one of those artsy malwares, and I completely forget what they're called. But a lot of the tracks pertaining to jpeg.exe were directly sampled from the malware itself, which hold on. Let me. Here we go. It's jpeg.exe Trojan. Let me play a teeny. Hold on. Theater mode. Hold on, I'm trying to set it up on YouTube, but YouTube's gonna lag like hell and back. Theater mode. There we go. Let's see. Let's see if I can capture this very well. Oh, hold on. Let me get my dumb idiot out of off the screen. There we go. So this is jpeg.exe, and I think everything in this hold on. Yeah, okay. So I think everything in this malware I sampled for that song and one of the other songs in this soundtrack. And also shout out to this guy not responding to this guy for uploading the demonstration. Oh, hold on, I just realized you can't see his name. Hold on. It is Pankoza2 who uploaded this. Oh, here we go. And then this little part here I also sampled as well. Okay, this next part is going to be very, 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 very flashy, so forewarning, very flashy. But yeah, we'll get to the other stuff that I sampled from jpeg.exe in a little bit. But I love seeing malware like that. I love seeing evil fucked up Trojans like that just like really, really test the limits of your device. And speaking of things that really, really test the limits of your device, the next character theme I made is a character based off of memes, and I'm sure a few people in really specific communities recognize the name memes. Let's play it real quick. So yeah, memes. I remember the avatar for memes being absolutely fucked up, but I think if you guys are familiar with memes, you can get like a general idea of how that guy was gonna be. I very specifically I remember this. And I can grab the noises right now. I was also in charge of the sound design, so I made a lot of talk noises for the different characters. And one of the talk noises I did for memes was just a bunch of fucking Joel clips, specifically clips from Joel messing with the speech to text program. So those are all amalgamated noises of Joel messing with speech to text. And you could vaguely make out his laughter in some of them. But yeah. That was a really cool one to do. Oh shit! While I'm doing talk noises, actually, let me do the other. Let me show off the other ones too. Here was Office's talk noises. And then this was, hold on. Problem about naming a character JPEG is that it brings up all of your JPEG files when you try to find it. Here we go. Those are also all sampled and amalgamated from the actual JPEG.exe malware. And what was also sampled was this track called "We Are Going to Beat You to Death." Yeah, so that was that was that one. If I remember correctly, I explicitly created that one as a concept for an ending you get where JPEG either gets really bored or really mad with you and decides to beat you to death. Um, that's it. And then this last one here, I think, is just kind of ambient stuff, so I'm just gonna let it play. It's just some like more area music. not supposed to hear that yet. I mean, you've already probably heard it anyways, but yeah, I don't really have much to say about that one. That was just kind of like an alternate, like, going around and there's nothing happening sort of track, just to kind of break the repetitiveness of the other track. But yeah, I don't know. I remember that being a pretty fun thing to work on. One thing I will say is that I think those might be recycled into a different kind of project that Stefan's working on right now. So do keep an eye out for that, or an ear out, I guess, if that ever goes through. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else here, so I guess that's it. That's the error040 entry of the TECHNONOMICON retrospectives. I think next time I'm going to do Splash Ducky and then Pilot TECHNONOMICON, which is the big one. And then all the other little guys, all the other stragglers. So Catskill, I Am Moss Rain, 3M-san, fucking Cloudberry Daydream, and Catatronic will all be in the same little thing. I'm not going to, well, I might include Awesome Face into that stream, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how long the everyone else stream does when we get to it. I will leave you off with a few demos before I turn this stream off. Here's your enrichment here while I pull up drafts of stuff that I'm currently working on. Here we go. So this is the first one. I can actually show a good amount of this one. So this is, you can't tell what it is, but it is Lord Foog the Ford. And it is a demo of Do the Brew that I haven't publicly shown much of yet. So this is an old recording. I do plan to re-record my voice.
Clockwork, I will say it all again. I show more than I've ever told you. I will fall apart like age-old bullshit, crumble into dust to try to put me down and bring me up again. Small world, I hate the way it tortures me. It has a hold as tight as iron forges. We are ants formed in a line, but there's no pheromone to guide me, just like everyone has built themselves to be. Darling, I will try to bravely put aside dependence. All my bright elixirs couldn't even tell the differences. I know my worth has dwindled since you first laid eyes upon me, and Elvio is my wretched middle name. Darling, I will try, my blood is running thinner since the day I sought a cure all for my lack of human understanding. Every wall I stare at blankly shows that dragon menacingly praying.
I don't even remember my own fucking lyrics.
It still sits back there idly, saying it knows how to be me, bending my back to drink the drops, to be somebody that I'm not. And every time I look away, this part of horror calls my name, my worst price for humanity, this tiring brew that makes my being.
And that's all that you get for now because it's unfinished. But yeah, I've been working on that one. I've been working on Lord Foog for admittedly a little too long. But I do have a I have a few others that I can show, I think. Let me double check that these are ones that I can show off without any problem. There is a Rage of the TECHNO-MANCER track I can give you 3 seconds of. If it'll even load. It's not loading, never mind. You don't get to hear it. There is one more thing I can show. There's one more thing I can show. Hold on, I promise. Here we go. I give you this intro to an album that I am not going to give a deadline date on because I just started it.
Let's get that YouTube
Because you it's where the truth is, where the truth is, where the truth. Because you it's where the truth is, where the truth is, where the truth. Because you it's where the truth is, where the truth is, where the truth. Because you it's where the truth is. Because you it's where the truth is, where the truth is, where the truth. Because you it's where the truth is, where the truth is, where the truth. Because you it's where the truth is, where the truth is, where the truth. Because you it's where the truth is. What the spaghetti? Mama Luigi, Mama Luigi. What the spaghetti? Mama Luigi, Mama Luigi.
You'll never guess. You'll never guess which alias that releases for, guys. That's crazy. All right though, but I think that's about everything that I can show as far as error040 goes. It's definitely a shorter stream than my Citrus one. I am dreading doing the pilot TECHNONOMICON commentary because that I'm gonna be strapped the fuck in for that one. But yeah. I don't know if anyone would have any other questions before I end stream, but I think error040 is definitely one of the weirder weirder projects I've done. I'm currently working on on and off, I should say. I'm on and off working on a jump style album for error040 at the moment, called Jump Redemption. I know I shared one of my demos for that project a pretty long time ago for that project, and then I mean it's hard for me to make serious music. I think it's the problem. I make a lot of like wacky whatever. It's hard for me to sit down and just like make something that's like normal that I don't have to giggle about every time I do it. But yeah, no. I'll catch y'all next stream. And then yeah. um mhm. had a headache before I joined this stream, and it's been consistently stagnant since I joined Love Your Music. I'm glad I could supply more migraine music for the soul. Alright, I'll catch y'all on the flip side.